Welcome, family, friends, loved ones, to Pitzer College's 49th commencement. My heartfelt congratulations to you, our graduating class of 2013. Pitzer students reflect the diversity of our world, with you, our 49th class, representing 29 states, 9 countries, and ranging in age from 20 to 54. You have lived on and off campus, you've juggled the demands of family and work, you have been valued and contributing members of the communities of Pitzer, Ontario, and Pomona, and you have traveled the world. All of you have worked hard, and you've made sacrifices to make it to this day, this graduation day, this ceremony of passage from one part of your life to the next. And to all of our new resources students, I want to offer you a special congratulations for completing your degrees. Pitzer College has come a long way since the year we were founded in 1963. In the earliest photographs, there was no cafeteria, no Grove House, no Green Bike program, no study abroad office, no career services center. In fact, we didn't have a school song or a motto. The entire campus was the Outback. On this rock-strewn 33-acre plot with only 2 trees for shade, there were 2 buildings, Sanborn Hall, a women's residence hall, and Scott Hall, our first academic building. There was 1 parking lot. The college's endowment was $2 million. Some people might say we had very, very little. What were our riches? You. Earlier generations of you. That first academic year of 64-65, the college consisted of 11 faculty, 3 staff, 157 students. This digital spring, conversations about the latest innovations in educational technology have gone viral. They're all the talk. Some argue technology is the answer. Others contend that it spells the end of quality education and learning. What I treasure most about Pitzer College is that in our infancy, 50 years ago, we already mastered the calculus to produce a great education. And it's a simple equation. A dedicated, inspired professor engages a curious, creative student in person. That's what makes Pitzer not just remarkable, but remarkably human. Pitzer was designed by faculty who envisioned a unique liberal arts college experience. Those first faculty members understood that a liberal arts education is the key to leading a well-lived, thoughtful life. They understood that education is not just about learning facts, but gaining an understanding of the rigors of critical thinking and the importance of synthesizing knowledge. And they knew that to educate is to communicate and to challenge. We've grown as an institution with just 3 graduates our first year, compared to 255 of you today. Yet our identity remains firmly intact. Here with us on this special occasion are members of our Board of Trustees and our board chair, alumna Robin Kramer. Robin majored in political studies and journalism, was a student member of the Faculty Executive Committee, a residence assistant in Mead Hall, a member of Claremont Students Against the War. She was an activist student. In her post-Pitzer career, she has worked in the public, private, and philanthropic and nonprofit sectors of Los Angeles. She has held leadership positions at the Coro Foundation, Broad Foundation, and the California Community Foundation. She also served as Chief of Staff to both Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and Mayor Richard Reardon, the first woman to serve in this post not just once, but twice. I'd also like to express my appreciation to the Pitzer College staff members, in particular Commencement Coordinator Katie Toole, for all of their dedicated efforts today. Our Commencement Committee, the groundskeepers, and staff from facilities and maintenance, custodial and housekeeping, our food service staff, and every office on campus that has worked so hard to create this beautiful occasion just for you. Please join me in thanking them. This year's graduating class elected Brinda Sarathi as student marshal. Our faculty marshal is Meeta Banerjee. Students also elect a member of the Pitzer staff to be their honored guest at commencement to thank them for their generosity of spirit and support. This year, you chose Moya Carter, our Dean of Students and Director of Campus Life. This year, we have two faculty members who will be joining the ranks of our distinguished emeriti faculty. Professor Catherine Miller, please rise. Catherine Miller, a member of the Art Field Group and an accomplished working artist, joined the Pitzer faculty in 1993. During her 20 years here at Pitzer, Professor Miller was influential in shaping the Art Field Group. The way in which she models Pitzer's commitment to interdisciplinary and environmental responsibility in her teaching and in her art is highly respected among her peers, her students, and the Pitzer community. Catherine, your classes have inspired generations of student artists to lead creative and eco-sensitive lives. You will be missed by us all. Please join me in thanking Professor Miller. Professor Kate Rogers, please rise. For the past 27 years, Kate Rogers has thoroughly participated in the life of the Pitzer College community as the backbone of the Organizational Studies Field Group. During her tenure, Professor Rogers chaired the academic planning and the curriculum committees, among many, many other committees. She has dedicated her professional life to working with students to enlarge their intellectual and professional horizons. Kate, I thank you for the meaningful contributions you have made to Pitzer College. Please join me in thanking Professor Rogers. Today, we honor you, our students, and our faculty. Seniors, you symbolize every student who has ever come before you and every student who is yet to arrive. During your time here at Pitzer, you stepped outside the classroom to tutor elementary school students, work with women living at a residential treatment facility, mentor children with disabilities, and write poetry with incarcerated youth. You founded a first-generation college students program. When Newsweek called Pitzer a most service-minded school, it was talking about you. Over 70% of you studied abroad in 37 programs in 30 countries. You researched vaccines in Botswana, studied watersheds in Costa Rica, and learned the Nepalese language. You are multilingual, multidimensional, and multinational. You co-authored articles that appeared in journals such as Atmospheric Environment, conducted research for a paper presented at the Western Political Science Association Conference, and filmed a documentary about water use rights in Ecuador. During your time here, you've won a State Department of Critical Language Scholarship and received accolades at the Harvard Model UN. You have won an abundance of national awards and scholarships. You received 12 Teach for America fellowships, more than any other Pitzer class in our history. You've earned a Watson Fellowship for an intellectual and international adventure. And I would like to thank Professor Karina Johnson for her commitment to our students through her leadership of the Watson application process. You've also been awarded Udall scholarships for your environmental commitment, a Napier Award, Mellon Foundation grants, Grounds for Health Fellow, a Capital Fellowship, Coro Fellowships, Newman Civic Fellowships, and of course, a few Fulbrights. Thus far, 22 of you have been awarded Fulbright Fellowships. For the past 3 years, Pitzer students have been awarded the most Fulbrights among liberal arts colleges in the country, and we're on track to set a record number again this year. To the faculty and staff who support our Fulbright applicants in so many ways, Nigel Boyle, Sandy Hamilton, and Jennifer Onstadt, a special thank you. To the students who are about to teach English or conduct research everywhere from Armenia to Poland, from Greece to Taiwan, I wish you the greatest of adventures and the safest of travels. Seniors, you spoke your minds at College Council and Student Senate. You planned our Cahootech and Rockabilly festivals. You ran the Echo Center and the Shakedown Cafe, and your organic, locally grown California dates stuffed with blue cheese, topped with roasted almonds, and drizzled with olive oil are my favorite. You are record-setting and championship-winning athletes. You led the men's water polo team to its 12th SCIAC championship and were dubbed Water Polo Player of the Year. You sprinted and spiked your way to the top. Our women's water polo team won its 6th SCIAC championship, and men's soccer won its 2nd SCIAC championship in 4 years. You've played #1 singles in tennis almost since your arrival here 4 years ago and helped propel the women's tennis team to the top 10 nationally. You're a two-sport threat, soccer team captain and baseball center fielder who almost batted 1,000 during a torrid 4-game streak this spring. You committed your baseball season to your friend and fellow player in his memory. As the women's lacrosse team goalie, you tallied 156 saves in 19 games. After racking up 20 wins on the tennis court, you're heading off to play doubles in the NC2A championships next week with a broken arm. During your years here, Pitzer student athletes have been named to All-American, All-Conference, and All-Academic teams. You are international scholars and local stewards. Here at home, you compost frequently and often. You fixed and loaned hundreds of bikes in the communities of Pitzer and Ontario for a carbon monoxide-free commute. You created a pizza oven from red clay from the Claremont Hills and made over 100 pizzas in a single day. You had a disco fashion show featuring Pitzer folks wearing your fabulous creations. You're a molecular biologist and a ballroom dancer with the most competitive collegiate ballroom dance company in the country. You hated math your entire life. However, your view changed after one course with Professor Grabner. But today is not a day to just look back on all of your accomplishments. This moment of change also marks the beginning of your next chapter, wherever that may take you. Our seniors have plans to begin their graduate work at the University of Copenhagen, UCLA, Columbia University, Northwestern University, New York University, University of Pennsylvania, USC, UCLA, Harvard University, Colorado University, University of Michigan, and the Jose Limon Dance Institute, and Caltech. You will be embarking on careers as a research assistant at the Anderson Cancer Center, banking associate at Morgan Stanley, a Getty intern at the California African American Museum, a bartender at RB Inn, a research assistant at Stanford, an intern with Bike Transportation Alliance, a music supervisor at Aperture Music, a co-owner of a yoga studio, an environmental researcher at Walsh Environmental, and an intern with the Green Bay Packers. This year's senior class speaker is Sarah Maybach. Sarah is from Menlo Park, California, and is a human biology major with a minor in Asian studies. During her time at Pitzer, Sarah traveled to Mexico with the Global Local Program, was a student mentor, studied abroad in China, a member of the senior class committee, and highly respected among her peers as a great mentor. After graduation, she will attend Columbia University, where she will study international comparative education. Sarah, please come to the stage.
Hey, Pitzer College. In August 2009, I got off of a Southwest flight at the Ontario airport. My plane had been delayed 3 hours, and I was hoping that someone would still be there to pick me up. As I looked around, I saw a group of 20-somethings decked out in matching bro tanks. I remember thinking, I hope this isn't Pitzer. Luckily, they're from CMC, and instructed me that the Pitzer van would arrive shortly. Once the bearded boys from Pitzer did show up, we had a problem. Our anxious, worried parents had overpacked each of us, and there was too much stuff to fit in the van. One of the drivers had a solution. We thought to pack the car, but had neglected to take advantage of the space above the car. The 3 Pitzer boys removed their belts, tied them together, used the makeshift contraption to strap the bike to the roof, and handed the reins to me. It then became my responsibility to hold on to the makeshift chain of belts for dear life while we sped down the highway. Luckily, I did not let go of the belts, the bike did not fly off the roof, and we did not miss the departure of our orientation adventure trips. Later that week, we received our first official welcome to Pitzer. We had already embarked on our OAs, swam in President Trombley's pool, and met our roommates. But it's not officially welcome week without having to sit in the blazing hot sun and listen to 2 untamed anarchist students give us an additional introduction. The student speeches caught me off guard, and I had no clue how to anticipate my next 4 years. You could say that the class of 2013 was off to an unexpected start. Over time, I came to realize that the unexpected, spontaneous nature of Pitzer is what makes it so special. I presume that schools with less freedom do not get to swim in their president's pool or hear their dean of students impersonate pterodactyls. But those schools aren't Pitzer. At Pitzer, we have the freedom to believe, study, and participate in whatever we want. If you're not satisfied with Pitzer's majors, you can make your own. You don't like policies on campus? You can go to Senate and hope that John Rice won't sass you. Angry about the cultural ramifications of Thanksgiving? Start a massive all-student body email thread about it. For the past 4 years, we've had the privilege to study in an environment that not only allows us to whine and argue about anything, but also gives us outlets to voice our opinions and implement change. I'm not sure how many other institutions allow you to do that. And even if they do, they probably don't have a lounge pool in the center of their dorms or quinoa in the dining hall. Our class comes from all different places, even though at times it seems like everyone is either from the Bay, Seattle, or Los Angeles. We all study completely different fields and share different beliefs about who defecated in the GSC. But the time that will be the most united is after today. Throughout the last 4 years, regardless of whether or not we studied abroad in Nepal or participated in the Occupy movement, we've had shared experiences that will forever connect us with each other and Pitzer. From spending days on the mounds, to the attempted overthrow of Student Senate, to watching a middle-aged, eccentric woman belly dance at Cahootech last year, we've created memories together. Whether or not we, as students, have matured over the last 4 years, we have seen Pitzer mature. They built us this very commencement field, along with the volleyball and basketball court. Despite these facelifts and lower acceptance rate, I would like to believe that Pitzer still holds on to its charm and spunkiness. I remember being told as a freshman that our class wasn't Pitzer. Maybe this accusation was based on the dubstep coming from East Sanborn, but nonetheless, I felt offended. I found it funny when a 1984 Pitzer alum, okay fine, my dad, told me that upperclassmen told him the same thing almost 30 years ago. In the midst of all of these changes and developments, Pitzer will always be Pitzer. Its small, eclectic, and kind of weird spirit will still be here when we visit 30 years from now. After today, it is our decision how we want to be involved and to what level, whether it's through attending reunions, contributing what money we make from our careers in the nonprofit sector, choosing to send our children here, or even continuing our education and returning as a faculty member. Hey, maybe someone can finally get a PhD and create a field in sustainable bike studies. It could happen. Regardless of how we remain involved, we will always have our shared memories here and connection with each other. Had we chosen to attend a larger, more traditional, and older school, perhaps on the East Coast, meeting another alum in a random setting, it's possible that all we would have in common was the name of our college on our diplomas and LinkedIn profiles. At Pitzer, regardless of our age or background, we will forever have the shared, and yes, sometimes weird, experience of our 4 years on this campus. So when you're in a bar 15 years from now, and you meet a fellow Pitzer alum, or even a current student, you can appreciate that you have something in common, and that even if this very special place is changing, the values and character that it imparts remain intact. As Pitzer continues to become more prestigious, I will continue to attend its well-catered events and look forward to watching it develop. Today marks the end of our college experience, but I don't think that that's a reason to wallow. Even if we've just gone through the funkiest years of our lives and can never watch another Disney movie without overanalyzing the characters' gender roles, there's still hope for us. And hey, just because we're the 49th graduating class and not the 50th doesn't mean that there's anything less to celebrate. So congratulations, class of 2013. We did it!
On behalf of the 2013 Senior Class Gift Committee, Andreas Pena, Senior Class Representative, and Evelyn Chung, Class of 2013 Fundraising Chair, are here today to present the college with a gift. Andre is from Linwood, California, and a double major in International Political Economy and Migration and Globalization Studies. Evelyn is from Maplewood, New Jersey, and a psychology major and an economics minor. I'd also like to recognize Mitchell Felton and Sophie Cohen for their tremendous efforts in this regard. And you can now come to the stage.
Hello, seniors. President Trombley, friends, family, faculty, staff, and distinguished guests. On behalf of the class of 2013, thank you. You have made our time at Pitzer wonderful, and we will forever be grateful. Before we proceed with the presentation of the gift, I would like to thank our amazing parents for supporting us over the last 4 years. And to my amazing senior class committee, especially our gift chair, Evelyn Chung, who have worked above and beyond to make this possible and ensure that Pitzer seniors received the recognition of winning the 5 college competition for another year. It was definitely a challenge, but not surprisingly, Pitzer students came on top. Lastly, I would like to thank every single one of my classmates for electing me as your class representative for this year. It's been a true pleasure getting to meet you all. Thank you.
Additionally, the following 2 individuals have been extremely helpful in ensuring the success of this campaign and leading senior class events. If we could have Sophie Cohen and Mitchell Felton stand up, please. This year, the class of 2013 achieved 99.1% gift participation. Amounting to $6,158 in donations. Thank you so much for all of your support. And now, without further ado, President Trombley, we present to you Ellen the Pig.
Gilbert Gonzalez is an alumnus from the class of 2003 and president of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Gilbert has done outstanding work representing our Alumni Association through volunteer leadership and alumni activities. When he was a student at Pitzer, he founded Borrowed Voices, a literacy program that uses the spoken word to increase reading levels for incarcerated youth here in Los Angeles. He served as senior director in Los Angeles Mayor Villaraigosa's Office of Economic and Business Policy and is now a senior director at the Charles Dunn Company. Please welcome Gil Gonzalez.
Thank you, President Trombley. So at 7 this morning, I was at Starbucks up the street, and I overheard a family of a graduate today talking about them flying in from Ohio. And I was sitting there, it was very early, hadn't had my coffee yet, I was unshaven, and overheard them, and I said, hey, well, I'm the board president. And the family turned around and they looked at me, and they said, well, that's great. You know, our son is graduating today. And the father, as a wise father, would look at me and he said, just please shave. And he said it twice, please shave. So I made sure to shave. Graduates, I want to thank you for allowing me the honor of being your board president of the Alumni Association. I just want to brag for a quick second about your Alumni Association board. We're very strong and growing. We volunteered thousands of hours with worthy causes and mentored hundreds of recent Pitzer graduates. We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars so that no Pitzer student would go without financial aid. We've started projects such as the Reclamation Project, which I'm sure many of you have participated in, going on now, and shown up at campus events, job fairs, resume workshops, resume workshops and advising forums. Your alumni board and association have a presence across the globe, and my job is to ensure that we continue to grow and serve you and our community around us. I'm a rather busy person, and so are the other alumni board members. But our commitment to you and this college and what it stands for in our world require our time, and we gladly serve you. We serve because we are part of the Pitzer family, just like you. We understand that graduation was only the start of an important role for each of us, and giving our time, money, love to this association and the college is the only way the Pitzer family remains whole. This is one family and home, and it's yours too. Essayist Walter Matthews wrote, how much happier be every home if only the right thoughts could always be disseminated. If joy, kindness, consideration, happiness, service should radiate from everyone in the home, it would be the dearest place on earth. I find Mr. Matthews to be correct. Here at Pitzer, I have witnessed how love, giving, kindness, commitment can change people and our world for the better. Our Pitzer family, our home, is bringing forth what the world needs more of, and I think each and every one of you know that. And that's only because each and every one of you, this administration, this college, stands for something bigger than themselves. I am so proud to be part of this family. Please know this campus, this faculty, this administration, your classmates that sit with you today, the ones that have come before you and the ones that will come after you, serve as part of the Pitzer family. None of us arrived at Pitzer by accident, and we are united with the purpose of bringing loving, responsible citizens to our world. Something in each of our hearts brought us here. As the saying goes, home is where your heart is. So wherever you go, Pitzer and what we stand for remain in your heart and your home. Graduate, this college and our purpose only survives through a united Pitzer family, and an understanding that each and every one of us has an obligation to stay engaged with this campus and our cause. I'm sure we all love this campus, so here's what I ask of you. Go to the alumni page and make sure that we have your updated information. That's a start. Share ideas as to how we can better serve you. That's crucially important. Give what you can, monetarily or time-wise. We appreciate either one. Call your board president now and then, and as your mother would say, call your mother now and then. I get lonely, so please call me because I want to stay in touch with you. So call us when you can. And seriously, and most importantly, stand as an ambassador wherever you are in this world for this college, our family, and our home, and our cause. This is one of the most special places on earth, and our collective cause can only continue with your involvement. Thank you.
In keeping with a 49-year Pitzer tradition, the senior class selected this year's commencement speaker. Our guest today is John Lovett. John is the co-creator and head writer of the NBC sitcom 1600 Penn. Prior to this, John spent 3 years as a speech writer for President Barack Obama. During his tenure at the White House, John drafted speeches on a range of public policy issues. He also helped craft the jokes used by President Obama at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner. But before serving in the White House, he was the chief speechwriter to then-Senator Hillary Clinton, working on both her presidential campaign and in her Senate office. John is a 2004 graduate of Williams College. After college, but before entering politics, he spent time doing stand-up at comedy clubs around New York. He is a Los Angeles resident today. And so on behalf of the graduating class of 2013 and the Pitzer community, John Lovett, welcome.
Hey guys. Graduates. Wait, I'm still shorter. How you guys feeling? I, for one, think we look amazing in these gowns. We look like gay federal judges who aren't afraid to put a little flair out there because times have changed and you can be a confident, proud, even flamboyant gay judge while still being impartial in, say, copyright disputes, which you're seeing more and more of these days as our creaking laws face the onslaught of questions that come with new forms of media. You wonder if the whole idea of copyright is antiquated. Of course, you believe intellectual property is the lifeblood of a free market, but you didn't become a gay judge. You didn't become a gay judge to arbitrate lengthy trademark disputes between multinational corporations. You wanted to stand up for the little guy. You wanted to help that undocumented farm worker who was just providing for her kids. You wanted to help that repeat drug offender get treatment instead of another pointless stint behind bars. And now look at you. 20 years on the bench, and the only reason you stand out as a jurist is because you wear a colorful sash. You didn't even want to go to law school. You weren't sure what you wanted to do, but you figured a law degree would be a great resource and give you time to learn who you were. Of course, 3 years later, who you were was a lawyer with a ton of debt. So you end up at a big law firm in Manhattan grinding out the billable hours. You're a young gay man in the heart of New York. You're a young gay man in the heart of New York City, but you're too tired to go out. And even if you weren't, you'd have no idea where to go because the only two places you've been are your windowless office and your tiny bare-walled studio with a big screen television and a bed. Now, in hindsight, you kick yourself for wasting the years when you were young and pretty and confident and still had some shine in your eyes, and the world seemed boundless and anything was possible, and all you wish with every fiber of your being was that you could go back to that young man accepting his college diploma and shake him hard and tell him that now was the time to take risks, now was the time not to be safe, that there would be time for safe, that there would be time for offices and stability and sacrifices and savings accounts, but this was the rare moment when a human being could be free to write and dream and walk the earth and shout at power and dance with beautiful strangers. You want to smack some sense into your young self, but you can't, because that's all in the past. You're just an old gay judge now. Anyway, good morning. Listen, you guys didn't invite a typical commencement speaker, so I'm not going to waste your time with a typical commencement speech. If you wanted one of those, you could have booked historian Doris Kearns Goodwin, or that nice pilot who crashed into the Hudson, or Tom Hanks. Imagine if I were Tom Hanks right now. How cool would that be? And I was like, this reminds me of the time I pulled a prank on Steven Spielberg, which is awesome, because it seems like they have a ton of fun making those movies together. But here's the thing. Those renowned, accomplished people, they don't remember what it feels like to sit in your seats. Not really. They can offer advice, sure, and some of it may be good. Follow your dreams, aim high, whatever. But long ago, have they forgotten the subtle notes of excitement and uncertainty and alcohol coursing through your veins today? And by the looks of you, there's some other stuff in there too. Guy in the sandals knows what I'm talking about. You know, I recently turned 30, which I know seems like a generation away to those of you graduating this morning, but it's more than just the worst. 30 is a year when you're left straddling two worlds. One foot stands in the world of the young, amongst the bright, eager minds and supple bodies of students like you. And the other foot stands in the world of the gray and decrepit. The ancient shapes of your professors and parents, their dulling senses, their craggly, wizened faces. And by the way, congratulations, parents. This day is your day, too. But what all this means is that I am in a position to talk about life after college as someone who just lived through it. For example, do you remember how your elementary school felt enormous? But then when you returned years later, you were amazed by how small it actually was. In time, your chosen professions will feel the same way. That is not to say that you won't have almost unlimited opportunities. But it is to say that if you sleep with someone who works in your industry, just be aware that you're going to bump into that person at meetings and conferences and birthday parties for the rest of your life. I literally had to leave politics. We're going to talk about it. Your love is a delicate flower. So anyway, I'm going to skip the platitudes. I want this to be a practical commencement address, and I'm going to do my best to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable to say, even when I probably shouldn't say it, because you're already swimming in half-truths, in people telling you what they think you want to hear. And in the next phase of your life, I promise you, you will encounter more. I should preface this by saying that the problem I'm going to describe involves a bad word. Not the worst word, but a bad word, though I made sure I only have to say it now and then one more time at the end, so if you want to distract any little kids for 1 second, please do so. One of the greatest threats we face, simply put, is bullshit. We are drowning in it. We are drowning in partisan rhetoric that is just true enough not to be a lie, in industry-sponsored research, in social media's imitation of human connection, in legalese and corporate doublespeak. It infects every facet of public life, corrupting our discourse, wrecking our trust in major institutions, lowering our standards for the truth, and making it harder to achieve anything. And it wends its way into our private lives as well, changing even how we interact with one another. The way casual acquaintances will now say, "I love you." The way we describe whatever thing as the best thing ever. The way we are blurring the lines between friends and strangers. And we know that. There have been books written about the proliferation of malarkey, empty talk, baloney, claptrap, hot air, balderdash, bunk. One book was aptly named, "Your Call is Important to Us." But this is not only a challenge to society, it's a challenge we all face as individuals. Life tests our willingness in ways large and small to tell the truth. And I believe that so much of your future and our collective future depends on your doing so. So I'm gonna give you 3 honest, practical lessons about cutting the BS. Number 1, don't cover for your inexperience. You are smart, talented, educated, conscientious, untainted by the mistakes and conventional wisdom of the past. But you are also very annoying. Because there is a lot that you don't know that you don't know. Your parents are nodding. You've been annoying them for years. Why do you think they paid for college? So that you might finally, at long last, annoy someone else. And now your professors are nodding. F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "Yeah, this should definitely be in 3D. No, no, no. What he said was, the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold 2 opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. That's what you have to do. You have to be confident in your potential and aware of your inexperience. And that's really tough. There are moments when you have to have you'll have a different point of view because you're a fresh set of eyes, because you don't care how it's been done before, because you're sharp and creative, because there is another way, a better way. But there will also be moments when you have a different point of view because you're wrong. Because you're 23 and you should shut up and listen to somebody who's been around the block. Now the old people are applauding. It's hard to tell the difference. You know, I love to get this one wrong. I got it wrong a ton when I started out as a speechwriter for Hillary Clinton. I got it wrong again when I became a presidential speechwriter. I worked on one speech about the financial system that caused the Dow to drop like 200 points. You know, so that speech could have been better probably. Just this past year, I faced the same dilemma co-creating a show on NBC. It's called 1600 Penn, and while you may have heard of it, based on the ratings, you almost certainly didn't see it. Though, it recently did make some headlines when it was canceled. I had never so much as written a line of dialogue before I wrote this show, but I'm working with directors and writers and executives with years and years of experience in the biz. We call it the biz. I will always cringe remembering those little embarrassing moments when I said something dumb on a conference call, when my inexperience poked through, when I should have been more solicitous of the judgment of those around me. There's a reminder that it's not mutually exclusive to be confident and humble, to be skeptical and eager to learn. But there's another side to this coin, which brings me to lesson number 2. Sometimes you're going to be inexperienced, naive, untested, and totally right. And then in those moments, you have to make a choice. Is this a time to speak up or hold back? And it won't be easy. You know, I worked for then Senator Clinton during her campaign for president, and I believed in her and still do. But I vividly remember feeling like things weren't right in that campaign. A lot of the young staffers felt that way. It wasn't a secret that there were problems in how the campaign was being run. The campaign pollster, for instance, rolled out so many slogans it was impossible to keep track. Here is a sample. Let the conversation begin. Ready for change, ready to lead. Working for change, working for you. Strength plus experience equals change. Now, I like this one because it leads to the lesser-known corollary, strength plus experience divided by change equals 1. And then there was my favorite. Big challenges, real solutions, time to pick a president, one slogan, which he had printed on the side of a bus, but it was basically too small to read. So I'm putting these slogans into speeches, and I look over at an Obama campaign rally on cable news, and they have one slogan. It's just the word change in big letters. That seemed better. But I was timid, and a lot of us just assumed or wanted to assume that more experienced people must know what they're doing, but that wasn't true. So the campaign ended, my candidate lost, and I ended up as a presidential speechwriter anyway, which was cool. But the lesson I drew from that campaign, other than the fact that it's always a mistake to run against Barack Obama, is the subway rule. If you see something, say something. And I've tried to honor that ever since, to call BS when I see it, and to not be afraid to get in people's faces and throw a punch or two to make a point. Metaphorically, look at me. I wouldn't do well in an altercation. Now, lessons 1 and 2 can be in tension, and I can't tell you how to strike the balance every time, though it helps to be very charming. And from my point of view, I'd rather be wrong and cringe than right and regret not speaking up. But the good news is, as long as you aren't stubbornly wrong so frequently that they kick you out of the building, or so meek that everyone forgets you're in the building, you'll learn and grow and get better at striking that balance until your inexperience becomes experience. So it's a dilemma that solves itself. How awesome is that? Finally, number 3. Know that being honest, both about what you do know and about what you don't, can and will pay off. Up until recently, I would have said that the only proper response to our culture of BS is cynicism, that it would just get worse and worse. But I don't believe that anymore. And I think this matters for what comes next for you. I think we've reached a turning point. I'm going to say the word one last time. I believe we may have reached peak bullshit. And that increasingly, those who push back against the noise and nonsense, those who refuse to accept the untruths of politics and commerce and entertainment and government will be rewarded, that we are at the beginning of something important. We see it across our culture, with not only popularity but hunger for intellectual honesty of Jon Stewart, or the raw sincerity of Louis C.K. and Lena Dunham. You can even add the rise of dark, brooding, authentic superheroes in our blockbuster movies. We see it in locally sourced organic food on campuses like this, at places like the Shakedown. A rejection of the process as inauthentic. And we see it in politics. I believe Barack Obama represents this movement, that the rise of his candidacy was in part a consequence of the desire for greater authenticity in our public life. But you don't have to be a Democrat to believe me. You see it across the political spectrum. From Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts to Chris Christie in New Jersey to Rand Paul in Kentucky. And what's awesome is that the graduates of schools like Pitzer, you guys, will be the ones who are best prepared and most likely to lead this movement. What's striking about the culture of this school is an unabashedly sincere desire to do good in this world, to be responsible for one another and to carry yourselves with integrity. And it's exciting that maybe, just maybe, those traits don't just mean you'll do good, but that this earnestness, this authenticity, will help you succeed in a society that is demanding those qualities with both hands. All you have to do is avoid BSing yourself in whatever you choose to do, to avoid the path of the sad gay judge filled with regret, to go forward with confidence and an eagerness to learn, and to be honest with yourselves and others, to reject a culture of insincerity by virtue of the example you set in your own lives. And I say this only as someone hoping to do the same, along with you for the ride. Pitzer, class of 2013, you don't need any more encouragement from me. You're going to do extraordinary things, and I can't wait to see what's next. Congratulations.
Will the class of 2013 please rise? Madam President, upon recommendation of the faculty, with the approval of the Board of Trustees, I have the great honor to present the candidates here today, together with those who are absent, who, having completed all the requirements, are to receive the Bachelor of Arts.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you all the degree Bachelor of Arts.
Khadija Dima Jure Amba. Tomas Andreane. Abigail Arazola. Elisa Asturian. Pablo Andres Diaz. Daniel Michael Barrow. Sophie Beers. Morgan Flynn Rakes Bennett. Daniel Perez. Lauren Michelle Bitter. Melinda Suzanne Borello. Jacob Boutel. Alexandra Brill. Haley Michelle Brown. Amy Lynn Brownstein. Alda Khan. Jayen Kai. Sydney Natalie Callender. Jared Allen Calvert. Claire Carlson Jones. Stefan Castro. Jessica Juliana Shirez. Kenneth K. Chang. Scott Sherhaniak. Evelyn Chung. Sophie Cohen. Tali Cohen. Benjamin Connor. Elizabeth Rachel Conrad. Kimberly Michelle Parks Corprew. Jason Cox. Max Crane. Lauren Cronk. Sarah Maria Kimamura Saikon. Michaelia Ray Danko. Rochelle Ariana Davidowitz. Fanny DeCoster. Stacy Deere. Chloe DeTiro. Kristen Babson Dobbin. Cindy Jasmine Donis. Talia Dotson. Jamie Adams Dubose. Julia DePro. Phoebe Duval. Karen Rose Eisenhower. Maya Ellisman. Jason John Engel. Catherine Elizabeth Escher. Allison Hope Espinosa Sechko. Sarah Rochelle Espinoza. Brenda Elaine Evans. Sarah Evers. Danny Feinberg. Mitchell Felton. Samuel Fernald. Eduardo Fernandez. Simone Fine. Emma Malik French. Kayla Friedman Barb. Justin Richard Gaddy. Andrea Paloma Galdames. Mara Gallegos. Stuart Michael Gano. Faraz Gori. Laura Elise Glass Johnson. Camille Hunter Goldstein. Jamie Kwaman Gould. Lisette Selena Gracio. Zoe Nicole Greco. Whitney Anna Green. Michael Grime. Emma G. Caitlin Bailey Gumer. Geral Guzman. Ayana Harris. Caitlin Hartering. Molly Hasagawa. Dusty D. Havens. Emily Claire Haynes. Lisa Heinlein. Marion Elise Hilsinger. Eliza Hoffman. Austin Holden. Danielle Holmes. William Barry Holt. Acacia Horry. Brendan Hospian Kelly. Zahara Howard. Micah Wong. Mishahiro Ikeda. Kayla Briavel Imhoff. Paul Joseph Isaac. Kevin James Jotanen. Brandy Janoski. Sally Jasmine Hayarimo. Sochi Karina Johansson. Danielle Latrice Johnson. Alex Johnson. Walker Jones. Amanda Jenny Kadish. Talia Alex Cahan. Taylor Michelle Kamsler. Jacob Peter Kaplan. Max Kaplan. Rachel Carton. Midori Kato. Jessica Francine Keener. Holly Nicole Kempler. Annalise Kent Isaac. U Kum Kim. Micah Elliott Clarich. Peter Klingman. Nathan Klipfel. Gayanu Yeats Knox. Erin Diane Complin. Tiana Kong. Abigail Olivia Kramer. Alexander Bernard Kreisman. Bridget Lawley. Casey Leake. Garrett James Lenhart. Monica Ann Lumba. Gina Magnuson. Sarah Maybach. Mikhail Xanthos Malkovich. Alexander Malton. So DeMeo Marcus. Corinne Frances Marquardt. Darian Claire Martin. Timothy McCarty. Edward B. McLean. Lila Mendoza. Natalie Mendoza. Justin Kwang Sheng Ming. Harper Miller Rubin. Hannah Miller. Michael Miller. Emma Margaret Malloy. Angela Maria Shusha Beganyo Moore. Victoria Adriana Sochi Morale O'Connor. Lindsay Morgan. Jacob Moss. Eric Donald Munzer. Travis Isamu Maroka. I'm sorry, Travis. Jordan Mint. Amber Lily Neves. Marielle Nunley. Jordan Olmsted. Diana Ortiz. Layla Evelyn Austin. Matthew Stewart Owen. Emily Isabel Palena. Morgan Grace Parker Klimpel. Andres Pena. Nathan Pensler. Donna Rose Phillips. Lydia Irene Placencia. Charlotte Pradilla. Eric Pratsky. Lauren Anderson Quilty. Juliana Concannon Quinn. Gabriela Del Carmen Quintanilla. Sebastian Radloff. John Yancey Ray. Nina Resnick. Lucia Margot Reynolds. Ben Reed. Jonathan Field Rice. Nicholas Armando Rosa. Allison Rosenfeld. Mick Rosenthal. David Roth. Tara Alexandra Roth. Alyssa Christensen Rowe. J.C. Rubenstein. Becky Rudin. Danielle Mikhail Ryu. Maxwell Millspaw Sable. Marlene Salazar. Christian Marie Salmon. Martette Sanchez. Sam Sapon. Liz Scherfius. Michael Francis Willett Schwartz. Tarquin Pershing Schwartz. Matthew Herbert Shubin. Megan Singh Sidhu. Hallery Ann Sendelar. Jenna Slater. Alyssa Solis. Jamie Lee Solomon. Dion Sorrell. Emily Sutro Souder. Abraham David Sprague. Carolyn Spurgeon. Reed Stein. Nora Jane Stewart. Zachary Strom. Sukanya Susak. Lauren Ashley Thomas. Otto Tem. Carrie Tanisha Carolyn Todd. Christian Tui Tuan Trin. Kayla Tongas. Jonak Simon Toll. Matt. Woo! Now I forgot where I am. Matt Turner. Ava Louise Untermeyer. Andrew J. Valenzuela. Peter Nicholas Vanderhoof. Kimberly Vargas. Carmen Bunkers Valesquez. Rachel Lynn Warburton. Caitlin Michaela Watkins. Tyreek White. Louise Williams. Miller Williams. Nicholas V.J. Williams. Timothy John Williamson. Anna Wellner. Brian Winter. Kellen Charles Wall. Hunter White Wolfson. Jesselyn Leanne Wong. Young Sing Wong. Sarah Milagros Clark White. Shahan Mai Shu. Nathaniel Rungwa Wan. Sharday Kayla Zaragoza.
Class of 2013, congratulations. Oh my God. We're very, very proud of you. We wish you all the best. Remember, through the years, your alma mater, Pitzer College, I welcome you to our community of educated men and women. Be kind to yourselves. Lead joyous, compassionate, and intellectual lives. Return to us as alumni. And dear friends, I present to you the class of 2013.